Kim Mitchell, are you ready? Okay, good morning. Let's come to order and go on the record. I am Kim Duffley, one of the commissioners of the Utilities Commission. With me this morning are the following commissioners. If you will indicate your presence when I call your name: Commissioner Gray.
Aye.
Commissioner Hughes. John, I'm still not seeing Commissioner Hughes.
He's there. I don't know why he can't. I guess I can unmute him.
Yeah, thanks, John. I couldn't unmute myself. I'm here.
No
And I
Okay.
can't get video. So.
Okay, no video for Commissioner Hughes. Thank you. Commissioner McKissick?
Present.
In compliance with the State Government Ethics Act, I remind members of the Commission of their duty to avoid conflicts of interest and inquire as to whether any member of the Commission has a known conflict of interest with respect to any matters coming before the Commission this morning. Seeing none, let the record reflect that no conflicts have been identified. We'll proceed with Public Staff Electric, item P1. Mr. Thomas, you may proceed.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Jeff Thomas, an engineer with the Public Staff Energy Division. Before I begin, I have one quick editing note. The numbering on page 2 to 5 of the proposed order should read 1 to 8 instead of 9 to 16. Item number P1 is a request by Duke Energy Carolinas and Duke Energy Progress, collectively Duke, for a waiver of Section 5.4 of the North Carolina Renewable Energy Tracking System, or NCRETS, operating procedure, and for a prior period adjustment. The Commission allows Duke to approximate the number of RECs generated by net metering customers on a non-time-of-use demand tariff using a scalable conversion factor. Duke is entitled to the RECs from these customers, but it is not entitled to the RECs from net metering customers on a time-of-use demand tariff, or TOUD customers. Duke has identified an error in the number of RECs obtained from its net metering customers on a non-time-of-use demand tariff. Duke had been inadvertently claiming RECs from some TOUD customers since 2016. Duke has researched its historical reports to determine the correct number of RECs that belong to these TOUD customers. The public staff consulted with Duke and the NCRETS administrator to determine the most efficient way to correct Duke's subaccounts and accurately record the correct number of RECs. The public staff recommends the Commission issue the proposed order granting a waiver of Section 5.4 of NCRETS operating procedures and requiring Duke to work with the NCRETS administrator to make the correction. Representatives of the company may be present to respond to any questions from the Commission.
Move approval of the recommendation.
I'll second that, Madam Chair, but I do have several questions.
Okay, Commissioner McKissick.
Sure, and I'm not sure if this should be directed from someone from Duke or so I can get a little clearer understanding of what happened. I gather there was a PV watts solar calculator that was supposed to be used to calculate the estimated generation from the net metering customers. And I'm trying to understand, and this was dealing with the non-time of use customers, whether there was a problem with that solar calculator. Was it basically just human error, or what exactly occurred that allowed for this inaccurate computation to occur?
Yeah, so there may be representatives from the company, but I'll take a real quick stab. The PV watts calculator appears to be correct. It was simply the accounts that Duke was pulling generation data from, and there, like I said, there may be company representatives online as well.
Yes.
Hi, Jeff. Megan Jennings is on. I'm the Renewable Compliance Manager at Duke, and he is correct. The solar calculator is working correctly. What we have done is we took every net metering customer we have tracked monthly, and when we have been looking at those reports that we generated for NCRETS on a monthly basis, we determined that some of the customers included in those monthly reports are in fact on a TOU demand rate schedule. So what we have done is gone back to the historical reports that identified as TOU demand customers and the RECs that were counted for those customers and removed them from our calculations. So the calculations itself have been correct. It's just the number of customers that were identified were incorrect in counting those RECs and reporting them.
Okay, a quick follow-up. Did this miscalculation occur with all time of use customers or some subset, some smaller group?
So it was a smaller group. So what we have done is the order from 2018 required us to report all net metering RECs to NCRETS annually. And then in addition, we had to provide a monthly list of all of the customers on the net metering rate schedules. And so what we did is each month we provided that list to NCRETS, but it included both time of use demand customers to which we don't have the RECs, as well as the time of use customers to which we do have the rights to the RECs. So the report, we basically reported too many customers and too many RECs to NCRETS annually. And this was something that we just happened to come across when somebody asked us a question internally. Somebody on an OPT rate schedule for DEC was asking if they had the rights to their RECs. And so I started to look into the reports, and we realized that when we developed an automated report to run these reports monthly, and it was just capturing too many rate schedules within that report.
And it looks as if, based upon the numbers, that about 25% of what was reported was miscalculated. Is that correct?
That seems to be about correct.
And I guess the follow-up would be, is it the plan or intention to now somehow use some type of independent auditor or, outside party or somebody within Duke that can cross-reference this? Because I would logically assume that a error of the magnitude of 25% would have been somewhat of a glaring differential that should have popped up before a what I would call a customer inquiry occurred that would cause one to go back and check this.
Yes, certainly. So the monthly reports are posted publicly to the NCRETS website. I know we work with the public staff each year during our reps filings, and they look at the number of RECs that we produced. I'm just looking at the 2020 numbers, and there were for DEP about 7,000 customers, and DEC about 9,000. And the number of TOU demand customers was only about 88 and 63. It's just that they're the larger ones. So there are larger industrial customers. So the amount of capacity, the percentage of capacity, and therefore the percentage of RECs that are reported are larger along that 25% number, but the number of customers was only about 1%. So it definitely was an error on our part that we realized. You're right, we should have looked at those customers more closely, but they are listed about 9,000, and it's only about 88 of them that are TOU demand customers. It's just there are larger customers, they're Target and Aldi and those kind of larger customers, so they just have a larger capacity and therefore a larger number of RECs reported.
Sure, that certainly helps put it in context. And moving forward, what's going to be done to, I guess, mitigate the possibility of this type of miscalculation and error occurring moving,
Sure.
From this point in time moving forward? Now that we know that it did happen, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what's been put in place as a measure to make sure it doesn't occur again.
Yeah, absolutely. So the report that is run monthly, after we received this question, we kind of dug into that, and it had a requirement that the service agreement price name, which is the kind of the rate schedule within our records, was excluding all those rate schedules that had TOUD in the title. And so the person who wrote the report several years ago, I think, thought that would exclude all of the TOU demand rate schedules. Well, we've reached out to our rates department, both on the DEC and DEP sides, and they have identified every single rate schedule that is a TOU demand rate schedule. And so that monthly report that's run has now been rewritten. The requirements have been rewritten to make sure they exclude all of the TOU demand rate schedules.
Thank you, Ms. Jennings. Madam Chair, I don't have any further questions.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jennings. Are there any other questions or discussion?
Madam Chair, this is Robert Kaler for Duke Energy, it might be appropriate for Ms. Jennings to state her full name and title with the company for the record, I believe.
Very well.
My name is Megan Jennings, and I am a renewable compliance manager for both DEC and DEP.
Thank you.
Thank you. So seeing no further questions, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. I'll call roll for a vote, indicate by saying aye, opposed no. Commissioner Gray,
Aye.
Commissioner Hughes,
Aye.
Commissioner McKissick.
Aye.
And for the record, I support the motion. The motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. The commission has before it for approval its minutes from staff conference of May 3rd, 2021.
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that our minutes be approved. Any questions or discussion on that motion? All in favor indicate with an aye.
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 Any opposed? I approve as well, and our minutes of May 3rd, 2021 are approved. Is there any additional business for the commission? Okay, hearing none, we stand adjourned. Everyone have a great week.